Before the madness of March takes over, there's a different kind of magic in the air. The college basketball schedule is a masterpiece of competition and storytelling, woven together with precision and purpose. From the first tip in November to the final buzzer of March, every game serves a role. I was intrigued by how the schedule works, as I found its intricacy unique to other sports. While researching the schedule, one section stood out to me, the non-conference. This underrated part of college hoops is where powerhouses can collide in early season matchups, offering a glimpse of potential tournament showdowns, where underdogs rise to the occasion and unique venues from naval ships to iconic arenas create unforgettable atmospheres. The non-conference schedule is more than just preparation. It's a stage for storytelling, where the first pages of each team's stories are written. Before we get into the non-conference schedule, we have to understand the basics behind the makeup of a college basketball season. It is a complex process influenced by various factors, including team availability, conference rules, and external considerations like broadcasting requirements. A season consists of multiple segments: non-conference play, conference tournaments, and a potential postseason tournament like March Madness or the NIT, totaling anywhere from 30 to 40 games. The non-conference section is unique to the others, as it is the only one that is largely controlled by the schools, with the head coach himself typically making the decisions. Crafting a non-conference schedule is a strategic balancing act that blends competitive ambition with logical finesse. Programs meticulously select opponents to bolster their NCAA tournament resumes, aiming for a mix of marquee matchups and winnable games. There are 5 choices when it comes to scheduling non-conference games.
Thank you to everybody that said we had no chance.
I know you did it. You said you wanted these guys to.
In these matchups, larger programs, typically from the Power 5 conferences of college basketball, pay smaller schools, or mid-majors, significant sums of money to play at their arenas, avoiding a reciprocal game in return. For smaller schools, the revenue from these games often sustains their athletic programs, and funding necessities such as equipment, nutrition, and tournament entry fees. Guarantee games have become an integral part of the budget strategy for many smaller programs. For example, the University of Texas at Arlington's men's basketball program has generated over $1.2 million from these games. In the 2023-24 season alone, the team earned $295,000 by playing against opponents such as Texas Tech and Texas. These funds are crucial for maintaining the program's operations, even though the games often result in lopsided losses, such as their 100-1-56 defeat to the University of Arizona. While these games are financially beneficial, they come with challenges. Frequent losses in such high-stakes matchups can erode team morale. For mid-majors, the ultimate goal is to become competitive enough to phase out reliance on guaranteed games. Schools like Gonzaga and St. Mary's College have successfully transitioned from being guaranteed game participants to programs that now attract national attention and significant revenue through tournament success and sponsorships. For Power 5 schools, guarantee games are an opportunity to secure easy wins without risking an away loss, as well as getting their teams in rhythm playing in front of a crowd at the very beginning of the season. Also, they allow coaches to test out different lineups and players with the often large talent gap. However, the rise of the transfer portal and improved mid-major talent have made these games more competitive. Despite the risks, larger programs continue to use guarantee games as a way of preparing for their grueling conference schedules while minimalizing travel. Home and home series are agreements where 2 teams play each other at their respective home arenas over consecutive seasons. These matchups are a key part of non-conference scheduling, providing teams with balanced opportunities to compete in familiar environments. For mid-major and Power 5 schools alike, home and homes can enhance competitiveness and create lasting rivalries. For smaller programs, securing a home and home with a larger school can bring significant benefits. Hosting a high-profile opponent boosts ticket sales, increases local fan engagement, and provides valuable exposure. These games are also crucial for players to experience high-stakes competition in front of a supportive home crowd or hostile road environment, which helps prepare for the intensity of conference play and the NCAA tournament. Programs often prioritize home and homes with regional rivals or similarly ranked opponents, ensuring compelling matchups that appeal to fans and broadcasters, as well as help maintain traditions and strengthen relationships between programs. Neutral site games bring an added layer of excitement and spectacle to college basketball. As teams face off in venues that neither program calls home, These games are strategically significant, offering teams the chance to simulate postseason environments, particularly for high-profile matchups that capture national attention. One of the most iconic examples is the Carrier Classic, where teams played aboard the USS Carl Vinson, a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier under the open sky. This unique setting not only honored the military, but also showcased college basketball in an unforgettable way. Similarly, the Champions Classic, an annual event featuring powerhouse programs Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, and Michigan State, rotates through major arenas like Madison Square Garden and the United Center, delivering blockbuster matchups early in the season. Neutral site games are also used to grow the sport's audience. These events bring together fans from diverse locations and create a big game atmosphere, providing both players and spectators a taste of excitement well before March Madness begins. For teams, neutral site games are invaluable in testing their readiness under unfamiliar conditions, while for organizers, they offer a chance to blend sport with spectacle, creating moments that resonate beyond the hardwood. These matchups not only contribute to team development, but also elevate the profile of college basketball. Multi-team events, or MTEs, are a cornerstone of the college basketball non-conference schedule, offering teams a chance to play a tournament in a condensed timeframe. These events, often hosted in exciting locations, pit 4 to 8 programs from different conferences against each other for a trophy, creating early season drama. Teams will play 2 to 3 games, often in a championship or consolation bracket. Many of the games end up being gritty battles and can expose fake juggernauts or raise teams from unranked to top 10 in the span of a week. Iconic MTEs like the Maui Invitational and the Battle for Atlantis have become synonymous with high-level competition and marquee matchups. In addition to prestige, MTEs offer teams a chance to simulate the intensity of postseason play. Players experience back-to-back games against quality opponents in neutral or semi-neutral venues, sharpening their skills and mental toughness. These events can also allow programs to gain wins over high-ranking opponents, which plays a critical role in NCAA tournament seeding. Beyond the games themselves, MTEs serve as a celebration of college basketball. Fans often travel long distances to cheer for their teams in unique settings, turning these events into mini vacations that blend basketball with leisure over Thanksgiving or Christmas break. For teams, coaches, and fans alike, MTEs provide special moments while setting the tone for the rest of the season. Often regarded as the most prestigious MTE, the Maui Invitational is held annually during Thanksgiving week. Hosted by Chaminade University of Honolulu, an NCAA Division II school, the event takes place at the Lahaina Civic Center in Maui. The tournament's origins trace back to a historic upset in 1982, when Chaminade defeated the top-ranked University of Virginia, led by Ralph Sampson, in a stunning 77-72 victory. This iconic game inspired the creation of the Maui Classic, which evolved into today's Invitational. Since then, the event has brought together elite programs from across the country and is the most sought-after piece of silverware in the early season, with 5 Maui champions also winning March Madness. Coaches have the difficult decision of which/if they want to participate in an MTE, to try to bolster their resume and win some hardware, or risk injury as well as having a quick losing streak diminish their reputation. The final non-conference game type is the Challenge Series. Once a hallmark of non-conference scheduling, they have seen their prominence fade as coaches and conferences prioritize control over matchups and scheduling flexibility. This series pairs teams from different conferences in high-profile games aimed at boosting fan engagement and television ratings. The victories would then be tallied up by conference until one would eventually be declared the winner. The ACC Big Ten Challenge, which ran from 1999 to 2022, was the most iconic of these series, pitting 2 of the nation's premier conferences against each other in games hosted by participating schools. In its over 24-year history, the ACC won the series 13 times, while the Big Ten claimed 8 victories, with 3 ties. The success of the ACC Big Ten Challenge inspired similar events, including the SEC Big 12 Challenge, the Big East Big 12 Battle, and the Gavitt tip-off games between the Big Ten and Big East. These events became a staple of early season college basketball. However, as media rights and conference realignments reshaped the college sports landscape, these series faced growing challenges. For instance, the ACC Big Ten Challenge was discontinued after 2022 when ESPN lost the broadcast rights to Big Ten games. In its place, ESPN launched the ACC-SEC Challenge for the 2023-24 season. Similarly, other challenges like the Big 12 Pac-10 Hardwood Series and the SEC Big East Challenge were discontinued years earlier due to logistical and strategic shifts. Due to its being the most limiting in terms of program control, as well as its causing unbalanced or less compelling matchups, these challenges are falling more out of favor with coaches. Additionally, the expanding number of teams in major conferences has made it harder to accommodate all programs, leading to exclusions and logistical complications. Crafting a non-conference schedule is an art that requires coaches to balance preparation, exposure, and strategy, all while navigating financial and logistic constraints. It forces coaches to weigh the pros and cons of each option to build the best schedule for their team's given situation. Over the years, coaches have created distinct approaches, such as John Calipari emphasizing neutral site games in large arenas to simulate NCAA tournament environments, while Tom Izzo always likes to schedule hard opponents often ranked higher than his Michigan State due to his willingness to trade losses for team experience. Just this year, UConn head coach Dan Hurley said that he would no longer participate in 8-team MTEs after his back-to-back national champion Huskies lost all 3 games in Maui. Each option presents its unique pros and cons. For bigger programs, tough opponents can sharpen skills and boost resumes, but risk early losses, while weaker opponents may pad win totals but hurt tournament seeding. For smaller programs, tough opponents can help with financial stability, but often end in confidence-draining losses. Ultimately, a well-crafted non-conference schedule sets the tone for the season, preparing teams for the challenges ahead and influencing their path to March Madness.